Hey everybody, I'm Maggie. We're back on another episode of SRH Access, Facebook Live. Today we are here with our Director of Wellness and a sports medicine dietitian, Taylor.
Yes, hi. Thank you
Welcome.
for having me.
Yes, you actually were with us probably about a year ago, and so we're so happy to have you back. And as you can see, we kind of have some hands-on show and tell, something new we're trying this week. So we're excited to get started, and once again, happy to have you here.
Thank you.
So to kind of get started, we know that this month is Disordered Eating Month. So we kind of want to know what is that and kind of explain what that really means.
Yeah, so first of all, they're taking this month to talk about disordered eating and really recognize what it is and really shed light on signs and symptoms so that we can recognize it in ourselves, but also maybe in friends, family, our kids, and things like that. And really when it comes down to disordered eating, it is, I would say, to kind of simplify it, I guess, would be anything that veers off of your typical eating pattern, something maybe putting into practice really strict rules, skipping meals, just different things that you wouldn't normally follow, if that makes sense.
And this can obviously really connect to some of the patients that you see up at our Frisco campus, our sports medicine patients, just because, kids are getting more active every day, and they're doing different sports, and so obviously that's something that you kind of have to have an eye out for.
Yeah.
And maybe kind of give us an idea with disordered. What are some of the signs that maybe you see with some of our sports medicine kids?
So when kids come to me, they already have an injury. So right now they come to the sports medicine center with an injury, and the doctor will assess them, and if he or she thinks that it might have nutrition issues that go along with it, that's when they will bring that to me. And I would assess, look at eating patterns and things like that and see, do they have typical, like an eating schedule? What are their views about food, nutrition, eating? How do they feel about different foods? And you can gauge a lot from those kind of questions.
Definitely. And I think, so much of the education I'm sure that you provide and all of our experts provide is educating the family too. Because some of these kids are young. Not all of them can probably go make themselves a full-on dinner or meal,
Right.
But some of your education probably has to do with the parents as well. So can you explain maybe what is it like when someone comes to see you after being referred by one of our doctors? What can they expect? What can parents maybe expect from you?
Yeah, so, we'll come in, we have a kind of a consult room, and I'll meet with the patient and the family together, parents, both of them, doesn't matter. And I really kind of get to know the athlete a little bit and get to know the family and get to know what their schedule's like, all the different things they're juggling. And I really get to know the practice schedule of the athlete, competition schedule, and then, of course, we dive into the food part and just see, what is a typical day like for you? What does breakfast look like? Lunch, dinner, snacks? What do you usually pack? What do you have time for? What's really difficult? We go into, do you have food allergies? Do you have foods that you don't eat? And we really assess, I try to get a good look at the big picture to make an assessment right there. Do I think you're meeting your energy needs? And are there any big nutrients that I see you might be lacking? And, we'll talk about that, and I'll give recommendations right there based off of what I might see in the clinic room. And then I'll take that back with me and do a much more in-depth assessment and really look at, okay, is there anything else that I didn't see just when I did the overview that I really need to follow up on?
And depending on a child's age and maybe the sport they're playing, because some sports require more energy than others maybe. So is that something you have to take into consideration too when you're...
Absolutely. Looking at what type of sport you play. So, I get very specific.
Right.
What type of sport do you play? How many hours a week do you practice? Do you do a school sport and a club sport? Is your sport year-round? Do you have off-season? Do you not?
Right.
Everyone has different levels. And then taking with that, you have to look at their age as well to see, okay, are you about to go through a big growth spurt? Are you going through your growth spurt, or did you just finish it? Because all of those things can determine energy needs, protein needs, calcium needs, just all of that.
And I'm sure you probably run into kids. Kids are going to probably be picky eaters, and they're also kids, so they're going to eat They're going to eat sweets. They're going to eat some bad food. That's
Yeah.
probably going to happen. So how do you deal with some of those athletes who maybe are vegetarians or maybe or like you were saying, have certain food allergies that they can't eat something certain that is actually a key like food group in
Yeah.
what we need to fuel our bodies?
So depending on, what it is, if they're vegetarian, then I'll talk to them about, okay, here's some key nutrients that we need to focus on for you because you don't eat meat. Or maybe they also don't like dairy. Okay, well then that adds some extra things onto that. So we have to look at, what you might be missing and where are other places you could get it. So like dairy, you could get it from some vegetables, but we got to talk about what you'll try and what
Right.
you'll actually do. And really working together. So I usually kind of present a list of here are all the options depending on what their needs are. Let's go through together. Let's build meals together. Let's build some snacks based off of these other foods that you will eat, and let's see if we can get to your goals because you got to get there somehow.
Right.
So I'll give a little, you'll give a little.
Yes.
Let's get there.
Well, and I mean, obviously, I think starting them young and really teaching them about nutrition is so important because obviously it can set them up as they, get into adult. Even when they're not doing sports, it's important to know to fuel your body
Absolutely.
appropriately. So, I mean, why is it so important to start maybe as young as some of the patients you might see to understand the impact of this healthy eating?
Gosh, I mean, I think it's important to start young just to understand. I think understanding food is really big. So when you understand food, you understand what it does for you, it just makes it a lot easier to make decisions that work for you.
Right.
So, when you get older and maybe someone's, it could be you're an athlete and you're doing an endurance sport, or maybe you're doing a stop and go sport, or it just varies. But you can take the information you've already learned and you can apply it to yourself.
Right.
I think at the same time, learning young can expose you to different foods as well. And of course, you may not like it the first time, but you
Right.
gotta just keep trying, putting it out there, and may make them open to more food.
Right.
So
I mean, we all know that maybe something that you try as a child, you probably will love once you're an adult.
Yeah.
It just always changes.
Yeah.
So I know that yesterday we actually posted a blog about how an athlete is getting enough. So kind of maybe go into how will parents know or maybe not know the signs and symptoms of if their child is not getting enough and
Yeah.
by fueling their body.
Yeah, so some good signs that your child, your athlete may not be getting enough would be, injuries, lots of injuries. And maybe you don't always understand, gosh, why they're getting an injury. They just had an injury last year or 6 months
Right.
ago. Or, we keep going back to the doctor and they are just not healing like they should be. That means you may not be getting enough of the right nutrition or just enough energy in general. Things like getting infections, just getting sick more frequently, that could be a sign that you're not getting enough. Feeling tired all the time, chronic fatigue, that's definitely something. You may be practicing your hardest, you're going to every practice, and you are not showing improvement. You've looked at every other area and you're just not improving. That could be something. And then things like changes in your moodiness, signs of maybe, if it gets more extreme, just feeling like depressed or sad, things like that. And then, things like your hair. You can see changes in your hair.
Right.
It's thinner or different textures. Those can just mean maybe not as nourished as you should be.
Yeah. I mean, and I think it's so cool too because there's so much education with this and just that people don't know about how foods and what they can really do to your body. So I just think it's so awesome that we have you as a resource to some of our patients to educate just the families as well, just so that they can really help athletes grow to be strong and be at the best they can be. So I think we're kind of going to get into the cool part of this discussion, which is what are we making today?
So we are going to make a wrap.
Okay.
We're going to make a Mediterranean lunch wrap. And it's super simple. It doesn't involve cooking anything if you don't want it to, which is great. So it's pretty easy and simple. One of the things I talk about when I say let's get a balanced meal or a balanced snack. When I say balanced meal, I mean 3 out of the 5 food groups is a really easy way to think about it. If you're pressed for time, you don't have a lot of time to think about all the little parts. So, you've got protein, you've got fruits, vegetables, whole grains or starch, dairy, and then I always add some healthy fat to that as well. And so if nothing else, you're going to get 3 different foods out of all the food groups for a meal, and then at least 2 out of 5 for a snack.
Okay.
We can go into that now. So today, I'm doing the base with Mediterranean lunch wrap, and I started creating it as kind of a vegetarian option that could still give a little bit of protein, a little bit of the healthy fats. You get some carbohydrate, you get your veggies, and it could be vegetarian though, or you could add meat. So that's one of the things I like about this, and I've got one for you.
Perfect.
So there's
excited.
There's enough ingredients here.
Awesome.
For us to share.
Awesome. Let's do it.
So we have this handy recipe.
And we have the recipe, and we can actually put the link to it in the comments when we finish up here.
Perfect. Perfect. So this is really simple. I just got a whole wheat wrap from the grocery store, whole grain. And what you do to start out with is I put hummus.
Okay.
I layer hummus first, and there's about one tablespoon or so of hummus. That's wrong. There's 4 tablespoons.
Okay.
So you put about a 4th cup.
Okay.
Sorry, guys. So you can just get some of your favorite hummus. I like plain.
But some people, if they want to do maybe the red roasted or whatever.
Oh, absolutely. It's just going to add more flavor.
Okay.
But this has got protein.
Okay.
It's got fiber. It's got some healthy fats. It's made with chickpeas, so kind of think about what's in that. So, I mean, put on as much as you want, but I usually do about a 4th cup. And you just want to scoop it on there and then spread it out. So I'll do this, and then I will let you, and that's kind of a lot, so I'm going to.
This looks good already.
And this is going to help it stick together.
Okay.
It's going to be great.
So what if you have maybe someone who isn't, hummus I think sometimes comes along with a particular taste bud, maybe.
Yeah, that's true.
So if someone is maybe interested, is there an alternate that maybe you have ever used? Maybe, I don't even know, maybe a sour cream or because is this part of the protein aspect of the wrap?
It is. It's part of. It does give you part of some protein. It gives you fiber.
Mm-hmm. But it could maybe be made without it if you don't like it.
You could probably, if you eat yogurt, you could do like a plain yogurt and maybe put some spices in it and flavor it a little bit. I'll let you take that now. You can do that.
Perfect.
Absolutely. You could do like a plain yogurt and mix in some of your favorite maybe dried herbs and spices, and then make that your base. And that would work well.
Well, I think it's cool, too, because when it comes to, the food thing, I mean, you can just be, if you have the ideas, you can be creative with it, which is kind of cool. Especially if you're a kid, you can just try it and see if you like it. And
exactly. And so actually I made this really more for a kind of my friends, more adults, but then I had one friend who has 2 little boys, and one of her boys loves it. And he's probably 7, which I was shocked. Yeah. Because it's got a lot of vegetables in it.
Right.
But if you could also play around with it. Okay. And whatever your veggies your kids will eat, mix and match. So then I just take the veggies and I kind of layer them. Okay. So you just take about half of what's in here. One of them, so it's carrot. I just did shredded carrots. I did quartered grape tomatoes. I did sliced and quartered cucumbers. These are diced red bell peppers. So actually, when I first made it, I used roasted red bell peppers, which you could buy at the store already jarred, or you can just you can kind of cut it open, the bell pepper, and broil it for about 8 to 10 minutes. Okay. And then you close it up in foil and open it and peel the skin off. It's really easy and make your own. I love the texture and the flavor of that. Okay. But for today, we're doing just the raw. And then I did a mix of spinach and romaine. I love the spinach, the darker, the green, it's got folate and just a lot of great nutrients, iron, a lot of great nutrients in there, but I love the crunch that the romaine adds. And then chickpeas, and then we've got some feta, and we'll drizzle balsamic over it. Awesome. At the end. All right. So I'll let you,
Okay. So we're just going for it.
Just go for it.
Okay. I already had lunch, but I might have to.
We can use this for
have something else.
I know. I may need an after lunch snack.
And this is something too. I'm sure that you can maybe meal prep it a little bit and make
Oh, yeah.
in advance, and then, on the way to practice, or because I think that's always hard too, is that, if you have a family of multiple kids and they're all going to different sports and doing different things,
Yeah.
you need things that are on the go and just easy to throw in the car that they can just eat quickly.
And that's one of the things I discovered about this one. I wrapped it in this parchment paper. We'll see if I'm as successful today as I was before. But you can roll it up and it stays all really packaged well if you use some parchment paper.
We'll see if that, I don't know if I'm going to be that talented, but.
I know, this is getting pretty fun, so we'll see. But, let's see. So we'll just do a little bit. Obviously, there's precise measurements on the recipe.
Yeah, we're just trying to
We're just kind of winging it.
Show and tell today. And so you just drizzle this on top to your...
Just drizzle. I think the recipe says, what does it say? Maybe half a tablespoon to a tablespoon. And then hopefully it'll go really well. Yours looks prettier than mine for sure.
That's shocking. I'm shocked by that.
So then you just drizzle. And really, you can use, if you have a dressing that you love, use that. This is just something I always keep in my pantry.
Okay.
You can use your own dressing that you make. You could do, I know some people, I guess, there's tahini. I mean, there's so many things you could do.
Depending on what you want.
Okay, so we're going to try this. But what I've done before is I fold it over. So fold this over kind of with the paper.
Okay.
And then, let's see. So you can do it like this.
Okay.
And then you want to do it like this.
Okay.
And now wrap.
It's going to be good.
And then you just wrap it.
Okay.
Just like this. And now you would get toothpicks.
Okay.
Put it in.
You definitely did better at the wrapping, but that's okay.
And then I have a sharp knife, but it's over there. So
I can go get it.
Okay.
I can go get
it's
it.
in the bag under the desk.
Oh, okay.
So we'll just get that. And then what you do is, so you'll have this, and you can just wrap up the ends, and then you'll slice it down the middle. And it's kind of like when you go to the deli and you get a sandwich. And then it holds all the stuff inside of it. Thank you. So let's see if we can get it. So if you wanted to eat it, just do that. And then you've got your wrap.
Look at that.
And then it's kind of held together in here.
Perfect.
Just like that.
That looks great.
So, oops.
We probably won't cut mine open right now since it might go everywhere. But.
So that would just be one wrap that you could make.
Oh.
And of course you could leave it completely wrapped.
Okay.
And then whenever you're ready to eat it, cut it open or whatnot. Or go ahead, wrap it, cut it, put it in your kid's lunchbox.
Yeah.
Or your own lunchbox.
Yeah.
And go to work or school.
Very cool.
And it's got, veggies, whole grains.
And then if you have extra, you could probably make a nice little salad if you wanted.
Exactly. You could just take all that out and make a salad too.
Yeah.
And that's part of it. I would say if you don't add meat, you could add grilled shrimp. You could add diced grilled chicken. You could add tuna.
Okay.
Those would all be great options. Serve it with fruit, yogurt, crackers, something like that. Whatever you've got around.
That's awesome. Well, I think too we're also going to do some healthy snack ideas as well.
Yes.
So we can move on over here.
Okay.
You can go.
So we talked about looking at snacks, and a meal would be 3 out of the 5 food groups, and then a snack, think kind of 2 out of the 5 food groups. So I'm going to grab just this hummus over here, just as kind of an example. So looking at snacks, you can kind of pick and choose. So you've got some peanut butter here or some almond butter, good healthy fat, maybe a little bit of protein, some fiber, and then we've got carrot sticks. We've got some whole grain crackers, just fresh fruit, grapes. We've got a Greek yogurt. You could pick a plain yogurt. I know everyone has a different preference. Sometimes those Greek yogurts are a little more tart. Just an easy dried cereal, hummus, easy granola bar, and these are actually dried figs, which do have, they are a non-dairy source of calcium, so that's kind of
fun fact.
a fun fact.
Yeah.
But I usually say, pick and choose. So you could do some crackers and peanut butter, Or say if you had a string cheese, you could add that in. So you've got some whole grain and dairy if you pick the string cheese, or some healthy fat, a little bit of protein if you pick peanut butter. Do a yogurt and some fruit. Spread a little bit of peanut butter on your granola bar.
Okay.
Just little ways to mix and match. Add the crackers with the hummus that we just used. Those would be great, middle of the day snacks, kind of to get you from meal 1 to meal 2.
Okay.
Make sure you're getting enough fuel throughout the day. You also asked me about quick snacks,
Right,
quick energy snacks. And so that would really be taking out those things that are a little bit harder for the body to digest and sticking with the easier digested foods. So that would be things like keeping maybe the grapes, the figs, a simple granola bar. This doesn't have a lot of nuts and seeds. It doesn't have a ton of fiber or protein.
Okay.
So you really want to stick, if it's right before a practice or a game, competition, you want to think simple. So low in protein, low in fat, and low in fiber. Because that's harder for the stomach to digest. So things like the figs and the granola bar. Dry cereal is always easy. And the grapes.
Hey, there is a fire alarm happening. Because it's a good thing that we're finishing up, right?
It's perfect.
Well, we
Perfect.
appreciate you coming here, and we're so happy to be able to do this show and tell. And we can't wait to maybe learn more from you and all
Absolutely.
your knowledge. So
Thank you for
so
having
much.
me.
Yes. Thank you. We'll see you next time.